Hello, Qatar, Philippines, Georgia, Jordan, Bahrain, Turkey, and Dubai. And for those who are watching live on Facebook, welcome and thank you for presence and attendance. And today we will be having our uh, webinar series, which we have been doing for the past week. And by the way, I'm Dr. Alvin. I am the regional trainer of Middle East 1. Thank you for being with us today. First, I would like to greet Miss Maria Marivic Acosta, Maria Victoria Acosta, the SVP of Megaworld International, as well as the Assistant Vice President, Miss Jack Villanueva Tan, Miss Celuluhing, Miss Mia Buenaventura, Mr. Gerard Vito, and the administration staff of Megaworld International. Welcome again, and thank you for your undying support, as always, to Middle East 1 virtual events. So we are so grateful for your benevolence and grace and for being with us. So we'd like to greet also the PEZA Director General, Charito Ching Plaza. I hope you're there, ma'am. And we miss you in Doha. We miss you in Qatar. I hope this pandemic ends very soon, so we'll be able to have more events again and to meet our investors in Doha, Qatar. So today, we will be graced by one of the senior, I will call him senior real estate professional in Doha. So before I was involved in real estate, before I came to Doha, he was already here, and it was in 2011. 2011, I suppose. I think that was in 2011. So I'm here in Doha for almost 10 years now. So he will share with a not so familiar information for some, but for some who are familiar with the topic, it would refresh them for some opportunities that they can foreign investors. And for those who are new in this, might get interested in investing as well. So he will be talking one of the investment opportunities that the Philippine government is providing to foreign investors, as well as to private investors, not only in Doha, but around the world. So without much ado, I'd like to introduce the keynote speaker. Maybe he's already there waiting. All right, so our keynote speaker was a PEZA investment promotions partner for the Middle East. 2021 was a PEZA Galing Pilipinas awardee, a former PEZA consultant, former special advisor to the PEZA Director General for the Middle East and Northern Europe. There are more to share about this person who's going to share with us today about the PEZA, or the Philippine Economic Zone Authority. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Joseph Timothy Rivera, the chairman of the Association of the Filipino Real Estate Executives in Qatar. So, hello, Sir Joseph.
Okay, hello. Thank you very much, Doc Alvin, for that very pleasant introduction. And of course, thank you for having me again. And it's actually good to be home again here in Megaworld. And we at the Philippine Economic Zone Authority are always glad to share our investment potentials to our audiences and to our Megaworld investors. But before I begin, of course, I'd like to do our formal salutations to the Senior Vice President of Megaworld International, Ma'am Marivic Acosta. Madam, I miss you. And to all the beautiful and gorgeous Assistant Vice Presidents and other Vice Presidents and the dynamic staff of Megaworld International, a good afternoon to everyone. Okay, my name is Joseph Rivera, and I am here to give a brief presentation on Megaworld. Medyo OFW format po tayo ngayon, so I'm going to be speaking in English and Tagalog para mas maintindihan po ng ating mga kababayan kung ano ba itong Philippine Economic Zone Authority at kung ano ba talaga ang kanyang naitutulong sa bansa. No? And we are very pleased that Megaworld International, part of the Megaworld conglomerate, is hosting this webinar, considering that Megaworld is by far one of the largest economic zone developers in the Philippines. No? Yan po nagbibigay ng success. And in fact, one of the milestone projects of Megaworld are pioneer Philippine economic zones. Okay, so the Philippine Economic Zone Authority is known to be supporting our OFWs, and the Philippine Economic Zone Authority is in support of the Executive Order 114 or the Balik Probinsya Program. Unang-una, this is to promote investment. So ibig po sabihin, ipinagsusulong po ang pamunuan ng PEZA ang mga economic zones sa probinsya. Kasi alam naman po natin na ang progress po is congested na po in Metro Manila. So it is about time that we bring progress to the countryside. Okay? Hindi lang dapat Metro Manila, kailangan nandun din tayo sa Western Visayas, sa Central Visayas, sa parts of Mindanao, and the rest of the country. Okay, one of the other objectives of PEZA is to create employment, no? Ang paglikha ng mga trabaho sa kanayunan. Okay, that's the reason why we are giving out incentives to these investors in economic zone, and sacrificing our tax rates is for the simple benefit of generating jobs. And syempre po, generate export. Kailangan po natin ng magandang export, at dyan po pumapasok ang tulong ng PEZA. Ang Philippine Economic Zone Authority po is the first and foremost leading investment agency in the Philippines. It was the former Export Processing Zone Authority and was created in 1995. Our current Director General, Charito Plaza, is actually one of the authors of the PEZA law. Okay, PEZA supervises economic zones that are proclaimed under its mandate nationwide. It is actually a line agency under the Department of Trade and Industry, wherein the DTI Secretary, the Honorable Ramon Lopez, is the chairman of PEZA, and the Director General and the Chief Executive Officer is the PEZA Director General. Sinusuportahan ng PEZA ang mga economic zone na ipinahayag sa ilalim ng mandato para po sa buong bansa. So right now po, in PEZA's feet, we have a total of 408 economic zones sa buong Pilipinas, of which 4,542 companies na po ang registered sa PEZA, and we provide 1.6 million workers who are, by the way, hanggang ngayon po sa awa ng Diyos ay kung hindi po COVID-free, COVID-treated na po sila. Thanks to the Perfect Balancing Act na pinrovide po ng ating magiting na PEZA Director General. No, i-breakdown ko lang po ang ating economic zones. Out of the 408 economic zones, we have 74 manufacturing economic zones, 262 technology parks and centers, 22 agro-industrial economic zones, 19 tourism economic zones, and 2 medical tourism parks and centers. Right, I just want to let you know also that PEZA has a job fair program nga pala. Hindi lang po kami para sa investors. Sinusiguro rin po namin na magkaroon po ng magandang trabaho ang mga Pilipino sa ating mga economic zones. Ito po ang pagpalawak ng pag-unlad ng trabaho o paggawa, kabuhayan at pagpapabilis sa pagkamit ng mga kinangangailangan. So that we have the dollar program, which is the Development Outreach of Labor, Livelihood, and Acceleration of Resources. This was launched by no less than Director General Charito Plaza a few months back. So just to give you an idea, what are the PEZA incentives for export and IT enterprises? So kapag ka po nag-invest ang mga foreigners sa Pilipinas, nabibigyan po natin sila ng mga income tax holidays, anywhere from 6 to 8 years for pioneer project or 4 to 6 years for non-pioneer projects. So ibig sabihin, ang mga kumpanya na nagtatayo ng negosyo sa economic zone ay makaka-enjoy ng 4 to 8 years na walang tax. Zero tax po yan sa kanilang unang 4 hanggang 8 taon, depende po sa kanilang negosyo. And after po ng income tax holiday, naka-special 5% tax na po yan on gross income in lieu of all national and local taxes for life. So isang tax na po binabayaran natin. So that is the 5% tax on gross income. At the same time po, meron po tayong tax and duty-free privileges sa importation of capital equipment, spare parts, supplies, and raw materials. So isipin nyo na lang po, pagka ang isang economic zone business ay nag-angkat po ng materyales o ng equipment, maging backhoe man yan, tractor, machinery, zero customs po tayo. And also, number 4, ang incentives po natin does not go only to export industries, no? Kahit po magbenta po tayo ng ating mga produkto o mga serbisyo sa Pilipinas mismo, nag-grant po ang PEZA ng domestic sales allowance of up to 30%. So, which is adjustable po from time to time, depende po sa pangailangan ng ekonomiya. Kailangan lang po natin ng letter of authority from the Director General. Ang isa po sa kinagandang incentives ng PEZA is that meron tayong zero VAT, no? So, ibig sabihin, wala pong VAT ang inyong local purchases na directly related sa inyong activity. Kasama na rin po ang utilities sa telecoms, power, and water bill. So, to summarize po, kapag kayo po ay isang PEZA-registered company, okay, mas mababa po ang inyong telephone bill, mababa ang Meralco bill, mababa ang Maynilad, at kung meron po kayong mga materials, okay, or mga materials or raw supplies, exempted na po yan sa VAT. Okay? At as I said, mentioned earlier, exempted po tayo sa lahat ng taxes. Number 7, okay, to open our gates to foreign nationals, if you are a PEZA locator, you can employ foreign nationals as your senior staff. We provide them with special visa, kasama na po yung family members. Ang kinaganda rin po dito sa PEZA is, since hindi pa po nakakabili ng lupa ang mga foreigners sa Pilipinas, we give them the opportunity to rent land up to 75 years under a use of RAC agreement. At syempre, meron po tayong unequal service na pinoprovide ng PEZA. Ano po ba yung PEZA brand of service of ease of doing business? Sa PEZA po, one-stop po tayo. Okay, so kami na po nagsusupply ng building and occupancy permits. Kami na rin po nagsusupply ng import and export permits. So ibig sabihin, hindi na po tayo dadaan kay mayor, hindi po tayo dependent sa kanyang mayor's permit. Okay? We also have online import and export procedures on e-payment systems. Nagpo-provide po tayo ng special multiple entry non-immigrant visas. Okay, so yan po yung in a nutshell yung pong mga benefits po ng mga nasa loob ng PEZA. So ngayon po, just to give you a very, very brief on the PEZA's 10-point, new 10-point program. So number 1, bumubuo po tayo ngayon ng isang Philippine Economic Zone Map. So dito po, madali pong malocate na ating mga investors kung saan ba talaga ang mga available na lands, kung saan tayo pwedeng magpatayo ng mga economic zones. Number 2, berde, malulusog at matatag na mga economic zones or green, healthy, and sustainable eco-zones. No? All of our economic zones right now has to be environmental friendly. So dapat dyan, nagre-recycling po sila. We use renewable energy as much as possible. Tsaka dapat po malinis, iwas pandemya. Okay, number 3, espesyal na paaralan para sa mga economic zone. Ito po yung ating Special Economic Zone Institute where we provide special training, okay, in every region para sa mga technical na pagsasanay for PEZA. Number 4, we're building eco-towns and eco-cities. Ito yung mga grand projects po natin. Ang pagtayo ng mga economic na bayan at lungsod, which is very similar to our host Megaworld na nagtatayo na po sila ng mga iba't ibang mga townships, no, and the mega cities. So we want to do this all over the Philippines. So kaya nga sabi nga ni Director General Chirito Plaza, pwede tayong magtayo ng mini Tokyo, okay? Mini New York sa Pilipinas, mini Singapore, mini Doha, Qatar, as needed. Number 5, nandito po ang inyong abang lingkod na isang PEZA Investment Promotion Partner na nagsusulong po ng mga adhikain ng PEZA. As you know, wala naman po tayong PEZA attaché sa bawat embassy sa buong mundo. Kaya kami pong mga PEZA Investment Promotion Partners ang humaharap sa mga foreign na negosyante at inihikayat po namin sila mag-invest sa Pilipinas. Okay? And number 6, syempre sinusulong po natin ang ating Galing Pilipinas, Galing Pilipinas slogan, just to make us proud of our own Philippine talents. Tapos meron po tayong enhanced PEZA structure towards regionalization. Gusto po nating magkaroon ng sangay sa bawat region. Alinsunod na rin po ito sa Administrative Order 18 para sa pagpapabilis ng pag-unlad ng mga rural areas. Number 9, okay, ang mga empleyado ng PEZA at mga eco-zones ay mga reservist units na po yan. No? Hindi po yan automatic conscripting in case of war. Kung hindi sila po ay ginagawa na po nating reserves to help in times of national calamities and disasters. No? Number 9, we have the creation of food terminal logistics hubs in every region. Kasi bawat region po sa Pilipinas, kailangan may daluyan po tayo ng constant supply, okay, ng mga tradable goods at mga pagkain. And number 10, of course, the new PEZA is every Filipino driven. So sama-sama po tayo sa pag-unlad ng Pilipinas using economic zones. PEZA rin po, by the way, is a one-stop shop. Okay, we provide you with your environment clearance certificate with DNR, exemption from government local permits and fees. Okay, simplify na rin po ang ating registration process. Electronic application forms are available from the websites and these are downloadable. No? PEZA is also a non-stop shop. Just like our Director General, we provide support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which, by the way, I'd like to make a big shout out to our PPRG team headed by our Group Manager, Alim Giapal, Aaron, and the rest of the public promotions and publicity and public relations group of PEZA who are now in Cebu, I believe. Shout out sa inyo dyan, and I know you're supporting us. Thank you for watching. At sa PEZA po, wala po tayong red tape. Unlike any other government institutions po, pag may final po kayo sa PEZA, makakakuha po kagad kayo ng sagot whether your application is approved, denied, or kung ano man kulang. Hindi po kami nagpapatulog ng dokumento. May timeline po yan. At syempre, sa PEZA, we only provide you with red carpet treatment. Nang dahil po dito, we can assure you that PEZA has no graft and corruption. Para po sa ating mga OFW, we are also promoting the establishments of OFW and ex-OFW cooperatives para magtayo ng negosyo sa loob ng mga economic zones. We're also promoting for the establishment of an economic zone which will be purely run and developed by OFW. So hopefully one of our large developers like Megaworld would be able to support this one day. Okay? So, as we said earlier, PEZA helps returning OFWs to find jobs. So, that is the latest that we have. And just showing you a few slides of the presentations that we have during the World Free Zone Organization. Pero ito po ay na-explain ko na po na mas maaga. Pero I just wanted to clarify here that PEZA, by the way, contributes to 64% of the Philippine exports, 80% of export services to markets all over the world, and we're actually contributing to 16.28% of the Philippines' GDP. No, to sum up with the numbers, PEZA po, ever since its inception, has already generated 3.893 trillion in investments and has already produced 815 billion US dollars in exports. Siguro po, hindi ko na po sasabihin, bakit po, why invest in the Philippines? Okay, because Philippines is, well, it has its own attributes. We're geographically located, we have good people, we have good developers. It's a beautiful country, and it's really a heaven for investors. So, performance-wise po, maganda pong indicators ng ating economic zones. Take note po, out of the 400 plus economic zones po ng PEZA, 4 po dyan ay PEZA public economic zones which are directly run by PEZA. We have the Mactan Economic Zone, okay, which I believe is next to Mactan Ocean Town, okay? And then we have the Cavite Economic Zone. Again, may katabi na naman tayong Megaworld project dyan. We have the Baguio City Economic Zone, and we have the Pampanga Economic Zone, all right? So we've already discussed the PEZA incentives a while ago, and the 10-point program. Now, in terms po of COVID-19 po, okay, so at the moment, we're doing our best to prevent job losses, to prevent operation stoppage, and we're facing all the challenges with importation of raw materials. So, as much as possible po, iniiwasan po natin yung ating economic freeze, okay? So, the way we look forward to recovery, okay, we are in support of the IATF. All right, we are always in touch, giving out directives to our locators and our different economic zones, and we always impose, okay, yung ating para tayo COVID-free lagi. We have to have green, healthy, sustainable, and smart eco zones. So, bawal po ang pasaway, pero inuulit ko lang po, Within all economic zones in the Philippines, mahigpit po ang social distancing. Okay, hanggat maaari po, work for home and skeletal pa rin hanggat maaari. And for those who need to go to their work, we require all of our locators to provide housing and shuttle services. Mandatory din po sa amin ang disinfection of eco zones and company premises and the use of PPEs and sanitizers. Ganon din po ang testing facilities at check-up. And just recently, our Director General has been in touch already with the Office of the President and the IATF para masama na po sa vaccination priority ang ating mga eco zone workers. So, that gives us a cap of what Philippine Economic Zone Authority is all about. So, sa isang nutshell lang po, ito po ang pagpasok ng mga iba't ibang investment opportunities po sa ating bansa. Ayan. Am I back on screen? Tama ba?
Yes.
Ayun, tama. I am back on screen. So, in-invite pa rin po natin lahat po ng mga Pilipino dyan. Kung may kakilala po kayong foreigner na gusto pong mag-invest sa Pilipinas, basta ito po ay export-oriented, okay, pwede na po na siya ipasok. Yun nga lang, I forgot to mention kanina, no, ang mga economic zones po natin is hindi po siya export lagi. No? Wala na akong slide for this. But normally, we also do local industries. We do information and IT-based services. Pwede po yan. No? Kaya nga po, kung mapapansin nyo, I think ang inyong Eastwood Township, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the first successful IT parks in the Philippines. So we also support developing renewable energy. We are into environmental management, utilities of the economic zone. We also provide economic zone approvals for storage and facilities of services, establishing economic zones in regional areas. And just recently, we've been uncovering new types of economic zones such as defense industries and arsenals. So pwede na po tayong mag-invite ng iba't ibang governments or manufacturers to manufacture your arms and your weaponry systems in the Philippines. We are now actively promoting agricultural forestry and aquamarine. Okay, small and medium enterprises, establishments of retirement villages, no? So sana ang Megaworld, Doc Alvin, makapag-establish na rin tayo ng retirement village concept. Sagot na namin ng tax incentives dyan para mapaigting pa ang market natin under the PRA, no? And of course, we have building capacity with local government units. Nakipagtulungan po tayo dahil ang ating pong target for now is to have one new eco zone for every province, no? At least one man lang sa government and as much more private eco zones everywhere. And of course, we're also inviting investors to expand the existing economic zones. Yun, in a nutshell, di ba?
Grabe, yung normal na half-day na presentation.
Full day seminar yan.
In
this quick.
How many minutes? 45 minutes? 30 minutes.
Ayan.
So I was able to get the questions also from our chat box.
Ayan. So ito ang mga questions natin dito.
Naririnig
ko ako.
So how fast is the processing in order to be accredited in PEZA?
Streamline po dyan, no? Because normally our processing po is anywhere lang po siya from 14 to 21 calendar days, no? Kasi please take note po, before the pandemic kasi we have 2 board meetings, no? Every board meeting po kasi sa PEZA, which happens twice a month, lahat po ng applications for either you're a locator or you are a nagkasama developer, binabasa na po yung kagad. So in fact, as late as 5 days, no? As late as 5 days before a board meeting, nasabit nyo po na kompleto ang inyong application, makakaasa po kayo na ma-action na po kaagad dyan ng board. At pagsasabihin na rin po kayo kaagad ng aming enterprise department kung meron pang kulang sa inyong mga requirements. Ganun po kami kaagad. And normally, a board resolution is issued within a week after board meeting kung kayo po ay na-approve. And then, saka na po kayo pumunta sa next step ninyo. And anywhere po, from, as I said, 14 to 21 calendar days, that's already maximum na po yun. Basta walang complications. Now, that is only, by the way, for economic zone locators. Ibig sabihin, magtatayo kayo ng negosyo sa loob ng isang economic zone. Pero po, for economic zone Developers, which means magtatayo po tayo ng sarili nating economic zone. Okay? Like magtatayo tayo ng sarili nating township. Okay? After the approval of the PEZA board, mangangailangan po yan ng presidential proclamation. Kailangan po i-proclaim yan ng ating presidente. And the process takes anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Kasi evaluate pa yan ng national government and to consult with the regional and provincial stakeholders.
All right, thank you. Before I continue, shout out to Turkey, watching from Manila. Yan, hello, Manila. And meron po ba itong processing fee?
Yes, meron po tayong mga processing fee. Ang applications po natin is start lang po as low as 3,500 pesos for our locators. Tapos po kay economic zone developer, less than 20,000 pesos lang po ang processing fee po niyan. Tapos ang registration fee is almost the same amount lang.
Okay. You've mentioned for small enterprises, open for OFWs. May mga minimum daw.
Actually, wala po kaming minimum na investment. Basta kailangan lang po makomply po ninyo yung rental ninyo sa loob ng economic zone and that you are a duly registered company. Okay? Pwede na po yan. I'll give you an example po. 2 years ago in 2019, I've assisted one Qatar IT company na nag-open po ng branch na sa Philippines. Now, take note po ito ay napakasimple lang. This is a 100% foreign-owned one-person company. Napa-approve po natin sa SEC in less than 5 days kasi endorsed po siya ng PEZA. Ang capital lang po na dineposito namin sa Pilipinas was only 200,000 pesos. Okay? Yun yung dineposit namin. That was after approval. Pero nung nag-apply po kami sa PEZA, of course, we did not need that and yun lang po yung require namin. So there is no capital requirement po. Talaga. First, mas masustain po yung submit a good feasible plan na masusustain naman po yung ating itatay negosyo. At saka syempre, secure po natin ang legality po ng source ng funds natin. Yun lang po.
Okay. Pag
submit, for example, investment
proposal, for example, should this be direct from the investors o pwede din sila mag-hire ng consultants nila, consulting agency?
Definitely. You can always hire an agent to do the paperwork for you basta you sign the documents. And since we're doing this digitally naman, so for as long as it's duly authenticated naman po, it's not a problem because payment can be done naman po online. And Ganun po, application po natin with the use of modern technology is done through email. So in other words po, para kung sa pagdating po sa application stage, hindi po required ang face-to-face application. It can be done entirely online po. And we have a lot of accredited consultants and lawyers who would be more than happy to assist you in setting up. In fact, hindi nga lang sa hindi nga lang sa PEZA registration, no? Kung ang itatayo mong companies from scratch at balak mo siyang i-operate sa PEZA, we have lawyers and consultants who will help you from square one. Starting from the reservation of your name sa SEC, all the way to your registration. Kasi after your SEC registration, then magpe-PEZA registration. Kaya yun ang kinagandaan, Doc Alvin, kasi with PEZA, once you've already done your SEC registration and your BIR, no, at saka meron ka ng reservation, not necessarily na meron ka ng rental contract with an economic zone, no? May pwesto ka na. No, basta meron ka ng reservation doon, at registered ka na sa SEC, may BIR team ka, go ka na, apply ka na.
Ayun. So, siguro pwede nang yung mga interesadong nanonood po dyan na gusto
maybe can check out with Mr. Rivera about the process.
Alam po,
7 siya accessible.
Nahawa lang po kami sa aming masipag na Director General, Mama, sa Director General Chinito Plaza, dahil yun po yun minsan, nasa Qatar nga ako 10 p.m. pag may tanong sa investor ba, sumasagot. But right now, I want to emphasize that we have a very, very strong, publicity and public relations group under the head of Mr. Alim Diapal. We have a strong team, a PPRG team, and they're here to support you And I'd also like to make an acknowledgement shout out to Mr. Ramon Espinido, the head of the chairman of our CAPIPs all over the world. Thank you, sir. I know that you are watching us right now.
All right. So for OFWs, mentioned uh, Joseph, yung
OFWs cooperatives. Can you, uh,
I mean,
in
in
more
more
simpler way, how this can be
real
realized? They'd like to have
to have
in the ecosystem.
Okay. Kasi very generic naman kasi yan, no? Any ecozone locator can be owned by anyone. Ngayon, what makes it special pagka OFW? Kasi pag OFW kasi, normally kasi to raise the required capital, maraming involved. No? So, mas madali at mas transparent ang setup ng cooperative. Kung cooperative ba sila. So if a cooperative will operate, for example, hypothetically, let's say, a fruit processing cooperative, no? Mag-export sila ng mga fruit jams, for example, no? So mag-open sila isang cooperative, pag may registration na sila sa CDA, may BIRT na sila, okay? Meron na sila na secure na pwesto in any of the economic zones, so kapay na sila sa PEZA. So mas maganda kung cooperative kasi sila. Kasi mas minimum ang capital at equal ang sharing. Yung kasi yung concept na mas madaling mabenta sa mga OFWs rather than the traditional corporate setup na si ganito, si OFW from Dubai, 20% stock, si ganito, 5% stock. Medyo mahirap pa yun, coming from
Complicated.
medyo complicated yun. Kaya mas in-encourage namin, mag-cooperative na tayo para equal po, mas madali po tayo makalikom ng added capital.
All right. So for OFWs, I guess, so what would be the best advice you give as the
I can call you former consultant. I think you can still be a consultant for PEZA. You could give in order to start a business and start investment in the Philippines.
Yeah, our advice is
It's like in what area they can start
going on?
marami. Because, basta po ito lang natin tatandaan sa ating mga OFWC. Dalawa po kasi ang pwede natin pasukan sa PEZA. Number one is the export-oriented. Okay? Which means you enter into manufacturing of anything that can be exported out in the Philippines. Yan po yung ating yung tinakay ko kanina. So it can be anything from food to handicrafts to garments, no? To gadgets, to cell phones, to anything na ilalabas ng Pilipinas. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na ang ipoproduce ninyo, i-manufacture ninyo is para lang sa labas. No? Kasi as I said, you're allowed to sell 30% within the Philippines and enjoy the same tax incentives. No? And we're not limited there. Kung meron kayong lupa, you can go into farming, you can go agricultural, or even you could, if you are a cooperative of group of former nurses, former doctors, okay, you can open a medical facility within the economic zones, pasok po siya sa incentives. And at the same time po, no, pwede rin po magtayo mga OFW na tawag natin mga economic zone service enterprises. So like within economic zones, pwede sa magtayo dyan ng hotel, restaurant, or pwede sa mag-provide ng power, mag-generate ng power, provide ng IT services. For as long as ang Porokyano natin is within the economic zone, covered po siya.
Okay. As much as we would like you to stay with
Ay, Doc, pwede mo magdagdag na isa pa.
Okay,
Okay, very quickly lang. No? For the OFWs po kasi, I'd like to endorse po kasi yung ating tulong puso program by the Overseas Welfare Workers Welfare Administration. No? Kasi ang tulong puso program po provides capital, okay, anywhere from 500 to 1,000 to 1 million capital to any group of OFWs who would like to open a business, no? And this will be following the cooperative structure. Ito po ay hindi pa utang ng OWA, ito po ay bigay. Bigay lang po muna po. Wala na pong solidato sa gobyerno. Yes, ang importante lang po is you group yourselves of at least ideally 25 OFWs, which can be a mix of existing OFWs and former OFWs. Basta ang entity po ninyo is grupo po kayo ng OFW, may naisip po kayong concept, no? Magandang negosyo, isubmit po natin yan sa OWA at depende po sa operations po ninyo, anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million, even to I believe hanggang 1.5 million, makukuha niyo po yung grant. I repeat, Okay? The OWA Tulong Puso is not a loan. Okay? It is a grant. Wala na pong sulian yan. Ang obligasyon nyo lang po is palaguin nyo yan. Yun po. At yung perang yan, isipin na po, nakakuha na kayo ng libreng grant, tapos ibagbubukas nyo pa ng negosyo sa loob ng isang economic zone, okay? Eh, di mas maganda benefit ninyo. Kumbaga parang na-maximize nyo. Yun lang. Sorry, nalimutan ko ibanggit yun since we are OFW yan.
Napakagandang offer yan na binibigay na PEZA for OFW. So imagine, yung mga nanonood sa atin dyan, yung gusto nilang mag-form.
Sir Joseph, ito ay paano yung member sa OFW? Iba na natin na.
Can they qualify?
Yes, kasi ang transition period kasi ng OFW, 3 years kasi yan eh. From the time na umuwi ka, up to the next 3 years, from the time of your latest arrival, you're still considered an OFW in transition. Pero after 3 years, politics aside, okay, considered ka ng reintegrated.
Okay.
Pero meron kung, let's say, beyond 3 years, let's say nakalampas na ng 3 years, no? More than 3 years ka na nakauwi, okay? I believe OWA allows up to a certain percentage, no? Kahit na 25 years ako ka nang naging OFW, up to a certain percentage nga lang, no? Doon sa number of members.
Okay. So, saan nila pwede mag-apply? Directly sa OWA na?
Yes, they can get in touch with any regional office of the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, and if they want, okay, some of our Polo OWA offices all over the world also have information about this.
Oh, Joseph, you can give me an idea. We might as well be inviting Polo OWA.
Particular topic also that they might be the OFWs might be interested to make use of this, to take the opportunity
for them to set up a business in the Philippines. Yung reintegration nga kasi yun ang pinaka-importante. So, ayun.
So, I think kayong questions dito. I think by the next, our next event, we might be inviting again
to join us.
Kasi
ang Megaworld mag-visit sa Eco Project.
Yes!
Ayan. Episode approved
from Megaworld. We will be having that as well in the next session that we're going to have. Now,
may pahabol pala dito.
Oh.
Is it possible to start agribusiness in rural area? Say, Bicol, Southern Luzon?
Absolutely. Kung doon po sa, dalawa po yan, dalawa pong business po ang ating pwedeng pasukin sa agriculture side. Number one, you can be, kung meron na pong existing na agro-industrial eco-zone doon sa region ninyo, so doon lang po kayo magre-rent at makakapag-register po kayo as an economic zone. So whether you're into food processing or you're into plantation rice, kung may existing doon, wala akong problema. Ngayon, what if wala? What if wala? May lupa naman po kayo. No? At sa tingin nyo, meron kayong magandang feasibility study na pwede nyong ibigay sa ating mga naglalakihang ecozone developers tulad ng Megaworld na eco-develop. No? Ang minimum requirement lang po natin for an agro-industrial zone is 25 hectares. So kung may 25 hectares ka na, pwede natin
ano lang
hikayahan mo na yung kapitbahay mo. Kasi it could be a conglomerate of different owners and they don't need to give up ownership. They do not need to give up ownership of their property to be part of an ecozone. Yun nga lang, yung pinaka-proponent, yung company na mag-a-apply to run it as an ecozone should have a use of rock authority for 25 years.
Okay. Kaya ako pasok 5 hectares lang yung ating yan.
Case to case, I think case to case basis yan, no? Depende naman kasi yan sa sa product natin kasi meron man tayong mga ibang agro-industrial products that don't need really that vast space. Like for example, hydroponics, di ba? You can now build the equivalent of a 10-hectare farm into a building of so many floors lang naman. Kayang-kaya yun.
Tama naman. Kasi naman ngayong pandemic, ang mga tao ay going back to the farm.
Oo, kasi open air daw na eh.
Kasi nakakahinga sila doon.
Yes, that's true.
They breathe freely, they can breathe fresh air compared to sa metropolitan cities. Kaya yung mga nauwi sa probinsya para makahinga naman sa walang mask doon, maluwag sila makahinga sa mga farms nila.
Totoo yan.
Ayun. So, anything that you'd like to say more about, or anything that our OFWs can look forward to aside from interested for sure mga tao doon sa
yung tulong puso program, yes.
So, napaka-importante. Pero kung may mga may mga ibang OFWs na kasi na-provoke nitong talk na to for sure. Kung ano mga i-open a business or parang may mga kaibigan sila or may mga kakilala sila that they can bring into the Philippines. I think this will be an interesting thing for them. So, anything else that you'd like to plug in?
To promote. Yes. Bago ako magpasalamat, okay, sa Megaworld sa pag-imbita sa atin ng araw, I would really want to encourage all OFWs na wag po tayo mawalan ng pag-asa kung kayo po ay nakauwi na sa Pilipinas. Kung ang hanap niyo naman po ay trabaho at hindi naman wala pa kayong kakayanan na magtayo ng negosyo or wala pa kayong grupo para magtayo ng sariling economic zone, okay? Bumisita lang po sa website ng Philippine Economic Zone Authority sa www.peza.gov.ph. I-click nyo lang po yung dollar program at priority po sa amin sa PEZA ang pagbigay ng trabaho sa lahat po ng mga returning OFWs. Okay, yan po ang aming priority. Okay, the dollar program is being run by Work Bank in partnership with Work Bank. Ako nga, sumubok na ako mag-apply dyan. Ang daming offer, kaso hindi pa ako makauwi-uwi eh. Marami pang obligasyon dito sa Qatar. Okay, so that is the situation. So you could go there. So as I said, the OFWs can definitely benefit from PEZA, even if you are not yet in a position yet para magtayo ng negosyo. Kung ang kailangan po na yung trabaho, makakatulong po dyan ng PEZA. At kapag kayo na po ay may kakayanan upang magtayo ng sarili ng negosyo, nandiyan po ang PEZA para sa inyo. At kung kayo po ay isang lupon, malaking grupo ng mga OFWs o kaya naman ay may iba sa inyo, ay marami nang naipundad na lupa and you want to put it into good use, PEZA will always be there to help you open up or help you develop your own economic zone. By the way, Doc Alvin, yung 25 hectares requirement natin kanina, para lang yan sa agro-industrial. No? Pagkalit sa mga retirement village, okay nun 1-2 hectares yan. Pagka mga IT park, lalo na pag IT park sa IT center, isang building lang yan, pwede na yan. Okay, pwede na yun. Tatayo ka ng sarili mong hospital that will cater to foreigners, okay? Pwede yun.
OFWs na nagpaplano ng ganyan. Siyempre, everyone is planning to start and then to start their lives there, especially ang retirement ngayon, I think 56 na.
Oh, so PNP 56, no? If I'd like to quote, one of my friends, no, from Megaworld, senior vice president din siya, si Mr. Noli Hernandez sa local, no? Siya mismo nagsabi sa akin nung araw, I want to retire at age 50. No? So, sabi ko, sana all makapag-retire tayo na age 50.
Ngayon, siguro yung mga iba dyan kapag na din, of course, nag-iisip na sila kung paano sila makakapag-invest. So, alam niyo naman, Megaworld International is providing not only providing investment opportunities, but also similar conversations, discussions, topics that would help OFW continue their life to reintegrate themselves back in the Philippines. So, hindi lang naman talaga ito, trying to as much as possible, take the advantage of this pandemic to pull resources together, invite people who can share their knowledge and information regarding investment opportunities. Tingnan mo kung wala na mention, hindi natin alam yata OFW, tulong sa OFW nila yun, capacity yun para sa mga nanood sa atin. So, I think we have ignited some interest from our audience. So, Joseph, it's a pleasure for us to having you.
It's always an honor to be here with Megaworld.
For having you. And of course, the head BC on, I can see her there.
Obviously.
So on behalf of Miss Bem, I'd like to thank you, of course, and to thank our viewers, the managers of Megaworld International, MEA-1, Sir G, thank you.
And then you're still there. Thank you for the support. We appreciate that. And of course, to our viewers, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us and for being with us today. I hope to see you again in the future. Sir Joseph, thank you.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you. And for those who would like to stream again, this is recorded, so you can go back and you can watch again the presentation of Mr. Joseph Rivera. Again, Mr. Joseph Rivera is the chairman of the Association of Filipino Real Estate Executives in Doha. So, thank you so much. Good afternoon.
Good evening.
Good morning for those who are watching in Canada or in the United States. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Megaworld International family, thank you. Our APs, thank you so much. And the administration and staff of Megaworld International. Thank you so much.
Salamat po.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to the Philippines, the paradise of investment opportunities in the Asia-Pacific region. The Philippine Economic Zone Authority is managing a globally competitive and ecologically sustainable environment for your investments and industries as exporters of goods and services to the world market. The Philippine Economic Zone Authority, as an investment promotion agency, oversees and administers incentives to ecozone developers and locators in world-class, environment-friendly, secured, and competitively priced special economic zones that are ready to host export industries that are into manufacturing, processing, refinery, assembly, IT/BPO, tourism, medical tourism, and agro-industry. So why the Philippines?
Dole chose the Philippines and Mindanao specifically here in South Cotabato because the agronomic conditions are perfect for growing pineapples. So we are very close to the equator. We get a consistent climate over 12 months.
Which means we can plant the whole year round.
Philippine location is strategically situated in Southeast Asia. Logistic operation is another advantage, especially on import and export movement that is relevant to Samsung supply chain.
The Philippines is the fastest growing economy among the ASEAN 6 countries.
The Philippines has got a very large pool of highly trainable and really passionate workers, and I think that's one of the key things that is important in our industry, which is highly people-centric. We've got world-class facilities here and infrastructure. We've got government and PEZA support that allows us to facilitate our operation here.
Generally, education standard is quite high. There are many graduates from university and college. That's why we thought hiring would be easier for us.
1 million Filipinos reach the working age every year. We are also the only ASEAN country granted the GSP status by both the United States and the European Union, meaning Philippine exports can enter the US and the European region tariff-free. Over the years, we have developed the PEZA brand of service for ease of doing business. First, we are a one-stop shop. Second, we are a non-stop shop. There is no red tape, only red carpet treatment. And lastly, in PEZA, there is no graft, no corruption.
PEZA is renowned and highly respected for its one-stop shop policy. And as a matter of fact, it is highly regarded globally because of its no corruption tolerance and also its campaign against red tape.
The office in Manila, for example, there are other government agencies that reside within the office, such as the Bureau of Immigration and Bureau of Customs, which makes it a lot easier for us to secure the necessary permits to deliver our business in country. We are also recognized in 2019 as the PEZA Employer of the Year in terms of large enterprise.
PEZA is giving us a 5% GIT, inclusive of all taxes in the Philippines. We even get income tax holiday for new projects that we're bringing into this country. As a matter of fact, most countries has patterned their export industry using PEZA as their model.
First, timely and consistent processing through PEZA's one-stop shop concept.
Second, assistance by the very accommodating and capable PEZA personnel.
Third, partnership. We are in good company with PEZA.
PEZA was also the only economic zone agency cited by the IFC World Bank for best practice among economic zones worldwide.
We've been able to expand our portfolio in terms of technologies and also markets. We are now supplying to North America, to Europe, Asia. Effectively, we're very much a worldwide company now as a result of the ease of doing business.
Here in the Philippines, you are very culturally affiliated to North America, and that's something that our North American customers love a lot, which is why they choose to come here by the droves. Philippines has grown and is one of the largest, in fact the largest center for voice outsourcing across the globe.
The 40 years of operation of Texas Instruments in the Philippines is already more than enough manifestation of how we greatly appreciate and value the services of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority.
So if I have my way, I would say that we have to expand PEZA and even convert the whole country into a PEZA zone to improve the competitiveness of this country, provide more jobs for our people.
Experience the best of the Philippines, the best place to invest in. Galing Pinas, Galing Pinas.
Imagine a world where with one touch, you're transported to paradise, where everything is integrated and you can now spend more time on what's important. Imagine townships that make everything closer. Closer to where you need to be and where you want to be. Imagine a world where with a touch of your fingertips, you're able to work and innovate with the best and the brightest. Or what if the company you have is the best at throwing parties? With smooth interconnectivity, it feels as if they're just around the corner. Anything intertwined closely, everything interconnected. Luckily, we no longer need to imagine because our townships are already here. Megaworld is constantly looking ahead in building sustainable townships and integrated lifestyle communities from Metro Manila, the key cities, and to the countryside. Here in Megaworld, the perfect home is just one touch away. We don't just build your homes, we help you build your future.